What is that telling you? Yeah, they can whack it down with those spot gold contracts. They can create as much gold that does not nor ever will exist as they want to. But the reality is, things are changing on a global level. We are shifting from one monetary regime into another monetary regime.
Could a quiet revolution be reshaping the global economy right under our noses? In her latest video, Lynette Zang uncovers how governments and central bankers use subtle tactics to guide us into a new financial era. Discover the surprising influence of China and the critical role of consumer confidence in our debt-heavy world. Don't miss Zhang's eye-opening analysis on the hidden forces that could transform our economic future. Watch now to stay ahead of the curve.
Because people are starting to ask the question, are you better off? And this is something that we looked at in the US back when we were shifting into this debt-based system. Ronald Reagan, who introduced and formalized perception management. Now, China has taken perception management to an extreme level, but they're still getting pushback. Unlike his reform-era predecessors, Xi Jinping can't count on rapid gains and prosperity to underpin support for Communist Party rule. What you really need to understand is that this is how governments and central bankers work. When they want to push you into a new system, they've used inflation and prosperity, making you feel richer to get you to accept the new system. But what we've been seeing over the last couple of years is a revolution, and a very quiet, peaceful revolution. That's something that I'd like to see happen all around the world. And just as China showed us how to take control of a population, maybe they're now showing us how to create a quiet revolution. Because revolution, frankly, always starts from the young. What you're looking at here is consumer confidence. And that is a very big deal because China's been transitioning into a consumer-driven economy, right? And the whole world is now counting on the consumers to continue to consume. But with debt levels at nosebleed levels, they're having a problem. Okay, so you watch this consumer confidence. For 4 decades, China's 1.4 billion population experienced unparalleled gains in income and wealth. Doesn't that kind of sound familiar in the US? We're now at a point where the generations that have come after me, their children cannot expect to do better than their parents. That was not the case in the US for a very long time, and certainly in China as well. But recently, the blows have just kept coming. Real estate collapse, trade war with the US, a crackdown on entrepreneurs, and extended COVID lockdowns have stalled that prosperity engine. And take a look at what's happened to that confidence level. Remember, this is a con game, not just in China, around the whole world with all of this stuff. This is the prosperity that they want you to think that you really have. But what all of that really does is it devalues everything that's already out there, and it eliminates your ability to save in any kind of conservative level. This is a big deal. And confidence is a big deal, because when that breaks down like it is all around the world, revolutions happen. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is at the lowest level in China since they started tracking it back in '91. That is a very big deal. China's lie flat under social challenges. Well, the lie flat movement, which I've spoken about in the past, is where the lying flat or Tang Ping movement is a phenomenon that emerged in China in 2021. It describes the generations born in the late 90s and 2000s who, disappointed by their lack of social mobility and economic stagnation, have decided not to strive for their futures. They do not want to follow the values of hard work, home ownership, marriage, or living standards sought after by past generations. Why? Because they're not attainable. That's why. And aren't we seeing the same thing in the U.S.? That American dream where if you just get in there and you work really hard and you dream really big, everybody can own a home, educate their children, go on vacations, and have a nice life. But that's not happening anywhere. That isn't happening anymore. We know people that are graduating from college. Can they ever buy a house? You need what, an average of $120,000 a year to buy a home in today's environments, probably even higher than that. And yet, people are now getting disillusioned. So when I'm talking about this and showing you that this quiet revolution is happening in China, I'm also trying to show you, it's always easier to point the fingers, but we got to look in the mirror. I don't care where you are in this world. You've got to look in the mirror and you've got to see what's happening to the younger generation. Are they becoming disappointed because they cannot achieve what their parents achieved? This is the first generation, this 90s and 2000s, where the standard of living for their children is expected to be lower than it is for their parents. And what's the answer to that? China's Gen Z gold rush. Now, I've shown you before and just recently where people in China are rushing to buy the physical gold and physical silver as well. But Gen Z, those born between the mid-1990s and early 2010s, are turning to small gold items as a traditional safe haven asset and store of wealth because they see that if they save in the yuan, it goes away, it disappears. It's hard for young people to save money, and that by buying gold, the money is still with you in a different way. Because this is sound money, and so is this. And I'm not going, those ETFs or those other things. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about physical metals in your possession. Yep. When people are hopeless, different choices are made. So what are they making? They're going back to sound money. Isn't that what we've been talking about? Isn't that what we're fighting for? Isn't that what we have this quiet revolution for? But it's not just the population, because they were only allowed to buy gold like that since 2006, not that long ago. China's gold reserves have been going up and up and up. And of course, if you go into China with gold, you better declare it on the way in, or you are not taking it out on the way back. And they do not reveal all the gold that they mine in China. So this is just a guesstimate of China's gold reserves. It's more than likely substantially higher than this. But this has trickled down into the population. So all of China now, once they were allowed, understand this too, once they were allowed to buy gold again, they could go to the bank and buy gold, and then the bank stores it. So it's kind of easy if the Chinese government wants to confiscate and do that overtly, just to do a big sweep of all of those gold accounts at the banks. But here we're talking about they finally figured out that what they really want to do is accumulate it, because truthfully, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. And they figured that out, and that's true for you and me as well. China's central bank reportedly acquired a record 735 tons of gold last year, more than any other central bank, and it is the largest annual total since at least 1977. China's absolutely setting themselves up to be a dominant global financial leader. This should not be a shock to anybody watching this video. We know that that's true. And that buying is 18 months in a row. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think they know that many other people don't? They know what they're doing to the currency for sure. There's no fever like gold fever, and we're just at the beginning. And here, actually globally, spot gold, that contract is making all-time highs in every single currency, including China's. What is that telling you? Yeah, they can whack it down with those spot gold contracts. They can create as much gold that does not nor ever will exist as they want to. But the reality is, things are changing on a global level. We are shifting from one monetary regime into another monetary regime. China wants to be at the forefront of it. And they know that whoever holds the gold controls that destiny and puts themselves in a much better position to weather the looming transition crisis, the looming hyperinflation. What about you? What are you doing?
Thank you for joining us as we explored Lynette Zang's eye-opening insights into the quiet revolution in our global economy. Understanding these hidden forces is crucial for navigating our financial future. If you found this analysis valuable, please like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of economic trends and market shifts. Stay informed, stay prepared, and keep questioning the narratives. Until next time, stay ahead of the game.